Hi, this is Alcan. Welcome back to my channel. Well, we got an update on Fani Willis, and it's not good for her. This is from the Associated Press. A judge had ruled that the Georgia State Senate can subpoena Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis as part of the inquiry into whether she had engaged in misconduct during her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump, but has given Willis a chance to contest whether lawmakers' demands are overly broad. So Fulton County Supreme Court Judge Shakila Ingram filled the order Monday, telling Willis she has until January 13 to submit arguments over whether the subpoenas seek legal shield or confidential information. Ingram wrote that they would issue a final order later, saying that Willis has to respond. A state appeal court earlier this month removed Willis from the Georgia election interference case against Donald Trump and others, citing appearance of impropriety that may not typically warrant such a removal. The Georgia Court of Appeal panel said in a 2-1 ruling that because of the romantic relationship between Willis had with the special prosecutor named Wayne, this rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings. Willis' office immediately filed a notice of intent to ask the Georgia Supreme Court to review the decision. In August of 2021, Willis handed up a historic series of indictments against Trump, accusing him and 17 other of his GOP allies, including former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, engaging in criminal conspiracy to overturn Georgia's 2020 election results. That election saw Joe Biden defeat Trump in Georgia by less than 17,000 votes on his way to the White House. Biden became the first Democrat since Bill Clinton in '92 to carry Georgia or any other deep southern state. But since acknowledging a romantic relationship between Willis and Wade threw the case into an entirely new political and justicial spectrum, and now that Trump had become the 47th president-elect, Willis, who has been reelected in her own right on Election Day, and her prosecution was faced with even more uncertainty. The Republican-led Senate committee sent subpoena to Willis in August, seeking to compel her to testify during the September meeting and to produce scores of documents. The committee was formed earlier this year to examine allegations of various forms of misconduct by Willis, an elected Democrat, during her prosecution of Trump and others during the efforts to overturn the former president's 2020 election loss in Georgia. The results created a committee focus on Willis hiring a Wade, leading to the prosecution against Trump and others. The resolution said that the relationship amounted to a clear conflict of interest and fraud upon the taxpayers of the county and the state. Willis' attorneys, former Democrat Governor Roy Baines, argues that the Senate committee did not have the power to subpoena her. He also argued that subpoenas were overly broad and not related to a legitimate legislative need, saying the committee is seeking to confidentially and privately information as well as private and personal information. Well, the court didn't agree with you on that one, buckaroo. So Willis' challenge was pending in mid-September when she skipped the hearing during which the committee members had hoped to question her. That's not a good sign. In October, the committee asked Ingram to require Willis to comply with the subpoena. The committee's lawyers wrote in a court filing that Willis' failure to do so has delayed his ability to finish his inquiry and provide recommendations for any legislation or changes to appropriations that may result. Fulton County Court Judge Scott McCafferty ruled in March that Willis' actions showed a tremendous lack in judgment, but he did not find a conflict of interest that would disqualify Willis. He said he could continue her prosecution as long as Wade steps down, which he did. Willis and Wade had acknowledged the relationship, but had began after he was hired and ended before the indictment against Trump was filed. One wrinkle in the proceeding is the current Georgia legislative term will end when lawmakers are sworn in for the new term on January 13. However, Republican Senate Greg Dorsley Cummings said last week he'll be filing legislation to reestablish the committee at the beginning of the 2025 legislative session. Despite a committee lawful subpoena, DA Willis has refused to testify. Dorsley said in a statement, this coupled with troubled revelations to appear violation of Georgia's open record law paints a disturbing picture of the office operating through as it is above the law. This behavior undermines public trust and raises serious questions about the integrity of our office. So Republican Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones said he would support Dorzer's move, saying Willis refused to comply or come to before the committee is unacceptable, and address those issues to require accountability will be a priority for the Senate. So in other words, because she skipped the hearing, she is in a world of trouble, and the court agreed with them, despite what her so-called lawyer said. They had to iron the final stuff by the 13th. Yes, the Senate said they're going to be changing over around that time, but they're going to start the proceedings earlier so that when the 13th comes, they'll be up and ready to answer the call to go after her. So this is another domino falling on top of Fani Willis, probably to the end of her career and the end of the Trump case in Georgia. Now the question is, once all this is done and this case is gone, are they going to do the next step and investigate if the 2020 election was stolen in Georgia? Because that's the only reason why I could think of why they would do something like this. Because if it was, there's a problem. Well, you may recall when Biden won, he won by over 20,000 votes. Not just in Georgia, but those 20,000 votes mysteriously disappeared during this election. Harris didn't get it, and Trump didn't get it. So where did it go? Who knows? This is Alkan saying so long for now. Don't forget your stop.